Hello, my Aloha tribe, and welcome to the Aloha Perspective. Happy Monday. I hope everybody had a wonderful, wonderful weekend. And I don't know, hope you had a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Anyways, let's get cracking. I have some, let's see, Daily Magic Alchemical Thought Cards. I love these. These are really great quotes. And then we'll get into self-awareness. We'll get into the self-awareness cards. We're in card number 13. Lucky number 13. I know. I mean, people think I say that in jest, but I actually love the number 13. So it is my favorite number. And for no other reason than when I was a kid, I was very, very superstitious. Still might be. But it terrified me, especially when I turned 13. So I adopted the number, and it's been my favorite number ever since. So we have a lifelong, wonderful, wonderful coexistence, 13 and I. So let's see. All right, I'm just going to shuffle. Nothing's popping out, so we'll just shuffle. Oh, there we go. There we go. The minute I say that, poof. Maybe I needed to concentrate. So again, we're in card number 13 of getting into the vortex or getting into self-awareness. And I'll go a little bit into that after I do some of these little cards while I wait for people to come on. Oops. And I just dropped one, so I don't know where it went. So if I can find it, sorry. If I can find it, that would be fabulous. So there we go. I got it. All right. So, what do you see? Impossible or I'm possible? Perception matters. So it's funny because when I first pulled this card, I saw impossible. And then I read the quote and I'm like, wait, what? And then it says I'm period possible. And perception matters. Perception does matter, right? So that's what we really need to remember. Is like, is it impossible or are you possible? Are you willing, able, and ready to just poof right into all this stuff and just do it? I was just having a conversation with a friend that was talking about another friend, and it's just like, wow. Wow. And not that wow because they were talking about it, but just, they shared something with me that they thought would help me, because sometimes I get a little stuck, right? Sometimes I get that procrastination thing going. And then they just kind of started talking about this poor friend of theirs who's just had to face a lot of challenges. And, we all go through challenges, but that's why I think this card is the best, because perception really does matter. Like I said, when I first saw this, I saw impossible. And then all of a sudden I look closer and it's like, I'm possible. And you are possible. If you are breathing, then guess what? That means you're not dead, right? Duh, Shelly Marie. I know. But that's my point. Just get going. Do what you need to do. Go off and enjoy your life. Have fun. Be alive. All right, next one. Ask yourself, who am I being today? Who am I being today? Now recalibrate. Who am I being today? If it is not someone that you recognize, if it's not someone that you want to be, then recalibrate. Nobody says you ever have to keep on the same path. Think of life as like a freeway. In this area alone, I am surrounded by 4 freeways. And a lot of freeways run into other freeways, and some of them get you out of the state and some of them don't, and that's just in my immediate vicinity. There are actually freeways beyond those freeways. So, and they all go to different places, right? I mean, here's an example. So it says, ask yourself, who am I being today? And now recalibrate. Okay, I don't know why, but this is so funny. The 405 freeway that runs in Southern California, it runs between, I believe, LA and Orange County. Okay. So, and it starts here, ends there, starts there, ends here. Now, when you're coming south into Orange County from LA, the 405 says the San Diego freeway. It goes nowhere near San Diego. Okay. It ends about 40 miles before San Diego is even in its view. But that's the point. It runs right into another freeway. It runs into the 5 South, which, as many people know who live on the West Coast, is our interstate. It goes all the way up to Canada. Okay, you could start at the border, head all the way up, and hit the other border on that freeway. But the point is exactly that. Recalibrate. Okay, but you don't really have to recalibrate sometimes, because, believe it or not, coming down that 405, you could also hit what we call our toll roads. Well, a lot of people call them toll roads, but we have a toll road down here. And you could go that way. So it's not about choosing the hardest path for yourself. It's about choosing the most reliable, the most, direct route. And sometimes that was what we need to do. You could stay on the 405 South until it runs into the 5, which will take you to San Diego, or you can bypass that, that little intersection there, take the 73 freeway, which is the toll road, and go right over everything and past all this junk. And that'll still put you on your route that you want to be on. It'll still keep you on that path. Then now using freeways is probably not the best, but if you lived in Southern California and our crappy traffic sometimes, you would probably understand exactly where I'm coming from. All right. Now I know everywhere has traffic. I'm pretty sure San Francisco has some phenomenal traffic. I think it might be worse than ours, but there's like a love-hate thing that goes on between us and them. So I don't get it, but I have a lot of friends and family up there, so I particularly love it. Sorry, I'm drinking my citrus fizz stick from Arbonne this morning. And in my, raise your vibration with love and gratitude. Raise your vibration with love and gratitude. So I'm very, very happy about that. Anyways, sorry. I apologize if I'm a little out there. I threw my back out yesterday. So, and I'll be honest, I'm going to step out of the regular lane today. And I usually try to save all the metaphysical stuff for Fridays when we do the Aloha Oracle. But, sometimes our physical ailments are manifestations of things we're going through. And yesterday, or the evening before, I was struggling to sleep. So I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna get up for a little while. Then the cat was sleeping with me and I got kind of contorted. I'm not a contortionist. I am in no ways, means, or how someone who is super flexible. And yesterday morning I woke up and my back just went out. And I thought, okay, so all day I'm hemming and hawing, poor older sibling, she's hurting and she's helping to take care of me because she understands, she has chronic pain, so she understands this whole thing. But last night I stopped. Ask yourself, who am I being today? And then recalibrate. Right? Ask yourself, who are you being today, and recalibrate. So last night I sat down and I finally remembered to meditate. And while I was remembering to meditate, I kind of tapped in, and I tapped in big, and I tapped in hard. And all of a sudden I realized, I looked up the spiritual meaning for, this particular area of my back hurting, and it's having trouble connecting to your higher self. And that was kind of true. I got a little away from what I was aiming at, and I just got stuck. And I started putting all of my thoughts into all the wrong things, even though we've been talking about this, right? This has been the hugest part and the biggest part about these, getting into the vortex. And getting into the vortex is getting into self-awareness, okay? Don't worry about the word. You think vortex, you think, oh my God, I'm going to be swirled away by some weird portal. No, getting into the vortex is getting into yourself. It's getting into your self-awareness, into your center. It's your vortex. And I realized I wasn't doing that. I was moving away from moving into my higher self. And, our higher self is this person that truly believes that we are possible, right? I'm possible. That's the whole point of this self-awareness. That's the whole point of all these different things. And so I thought, you know what? And I have this great body chart that tells you all the different things on where you're hurting. So I thought, well, I took a muscle relaxer yesterday, didn't touch it, and in the past I know that it works because, when you have the lady cramps, boom, it's like, yeah, I feel great. But then I even tried Motrin, right? The medical strength Motrin, didn't touch it. So I thought, all right, I got to hunker down and I got to think about this, and I got to get into my vortex. I got to get into my self-awareness. And I started remembering and realizing that I don't know what was happening, but I was getting so wrapped up in all these other things and in shaming myself and not feeling good about myself. And everything I talked about last, Wednesday, Thursday, or Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, You know, it may be even Monday through Thursday, all these different things, even Friday during the Oracle, all these things I talked about, I was not doing, I was ignoring. And what is the one thing I always say at the end of these shows? Take care of yourself. And I wasn't, you know, physically or mentally. So when I hunkered down, I realized, okay, I'm going to beat this. I am going to, you know, move past this. I'm going to remember that I'm possible. And so I decided, all right, here we go. I moved back into a more solid frame of thinking. And it's really actually, you know, I'm not going to shame myself for going into this whole little, you know, pit of despair for a couple of days. Because I think sometimes we need that reminder about what we're capable of, about, you know, how some things are more than just surface problems. You know, some people say, oh, I hurt my back. But, you know, what are you going through in the time that you hurt your back? What are you living through? What is something hurting you, right? And so, again, I really kind of tried to tap into my higher self. And it's still a bit of a struggle today. But I have to tell you, when I woke up this morning, I didn't have any back pain. And so I knew, because even older siblings, like, do we need to get you to the doctor? It's like, no. The only person that's going to help my back is some kind of exorcist. Because, you know, I call it being poked. You know, there's, whether you believe it or not, there's the battle of good and evil, that it's always being fought around us. It's always being, you know, it's around us. And there's always going to be something that tries to take us down, especially when we're in a good place. You know, I mean, okay, so for example, right, you look at all these celebrities, all right, and you sit there and go, God, they have such a magnificent life. They can have anything they want. They can do this, that, and the other, but they can't really do this, that, and the other. You can go to a restaurant and not be bothered. Or you can live through life without being part of a tabloid, whether the tabloid is true or not. You know, so you can do all these things that they can't do. So there is a small price to pay for everything. Now you can. I mean, there's a lot of people who just, you know, live on the cuff, right? They live right there at the edge. It's like people see them, but they're like, yeah, okay, hi, bye, you know, all that good stuff. But my point is, see, I'm getting away from my higher self now. And I'm not complaining about anybody. I'm just saying, you know, because no matter where you go in life, no matter what you do in life, you have to remember to stay tapped into yourself. All right. I think my back is pulling again because I'm getting off the topic. But, you know, you really do. You have to stay within yourself and remember your higher purpose. Remember your higher power. And sometimes I think when my back pulls, it's reminding me, you know what, you're moving out of who you are and back into who you used to be. And it's not that I don't appreciate and respect who I used to be, because that person got me to where I am today. That inner child, that inner floof that I had to work with, that it grew up and kind of was just broken in all kinds of different directions and in a lot of pain. And sometimes I think maybe the pain that we experience is to remind us where we came from. You know, I mean, I had a great family. I have a great family. I can't say I had. I have a great family. I have great parents. Well, I have one parent left. But I have no complaints. You know, I mean, I did early on. There were some ventings that I had and some things that, you know, you wish were better. But all in all and all the way around, I had wonderful parents. Have and had. But I think sometimes we forget to see that. So, you know, again, for me, it was a reminder that I am possible. And to not forget where I came from, but to also not go back to where that was. Because it doesn't serve my purpose. It never did. But survival mode was there. And I know you're like, but you had great parents and you have a great family. But, you know, there were a lot of things that, you know, I mentioned in the past that I won't mention today, that, you know, you have to move through, you have to move past. So, and that is probably the best segue I can give us as we get into the vortex. So again, if you've been following along, we're on card number 13. Getting into the vortex is basically getting into your self-awareness. And as I've mentioned before in the past, and I will probably continue to mention as we go through these 60 cards, I have not really seen these cards. I've seen 3 or 4 of them. most recently 58 and 60 before I started this and realized, oh my God, this is great. Because a couple months ago we started, I laid the foundation of self-love, and then we started the, building this house of self-love, and getting into the vortex or slash getting into self-awareness is about decorating this home. It's about knowing what you want to bring in. It's about, making it bright and cheery and lovely and, neat and tidy. And, don't worry if something is out of place. Okay. It's not about being anal about something. It's about appreciating everything around you, but it's also about decorating your house, your spiritual house, your mental house, and your house of self-love that you want to build, that you want to, or we built it, that you want to decorate, that you want to be so inviting. Oh, excuse me. I am so sorry. I'm at the end of my cold, and when I get a cold, I sneeze like crazy. And then when I'm at the end of my cold, I sneeze like crazy. So it's just a weird pattern. So it's like saying, Shelly Marie, you're almost done. Yay. But yeah, so this is about making this an inviting, warm place to be. It's about letting go of all the stuff that's hurt us in the past. Because what's it serving us? It's not. Can you change it? No. But you can change how you react to it. You can change what triggers you. And that doesn't mean you're not going to have triggers. Okay, because I noticed that no matter how many times I've healed and how much healing I've done, I will get a trigger from time to time and think, oh gosh, I have something new to unpack. And it's like, it's nothing new to unpack. My saying it was something new to unpack was nothing more than my procrastinating on moving forward. And sometimes you do have new things to unpack, but these are things that I realized I've unpacked a long time ago. I sorted it, I put it away. I healed it. I tossed it if it didn't, fit or had holes in it. That's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. So, card number 13. My every thought is attracting its vibrational essence. My every thought is attracting its vibrational essence. Whether you are thinking about wanted things or unwanted things, you are still sending out a request to attract more things like the subject of your thought. And all things that happen to you, all people, things, experiences that come to you, come in response to your vibrational invitation. Noticing how things are turning out for you is one very clear way of understanding which vibrational requests you are emanating, because you're always getting the essence of what you are thinking about, whether you want it or not. Now, last week we talked about this, the law of attraction. Whether you believe it or not, it believes in you. So, just as a quick, asterisk thing, right? For anybody who might be new and jumping in and maybe doesn't understand the law of attraction, maybe doesn't understand this, that, or the other. I think the best way to put this is, think about, when you're having a bad day and how everything gets worse, right? But if you're able to stop, correct yourself, correct the pattern, then you might find, oh wow, today started out shitty, but hey, it got better. And that's because you took the time to really kind of twist it in the direction you needed it to go in. And, or maybe untangle it is what I should say, and get it straight again. It's about that card we had earlier. How have you been today? Now recalibrate. There's a great example in one of the books. I don't know if it was The Magic or The Secret. I can't remember. But they talked about how, you wake up in the morning, you stub your toe, and then if you don't recover from that, and I don't mean recover from it the pain wise, but if you just be like, great, this is the kind of day I'm going to have, that is exactly the kind of day you're going to have. Okay, that is exactly the kind of day you're going to have. You may sit in the same amount of traffic and think, oh my God, the traffic's so much worse today. Because you're in a bad place. You're in an angry mood. But if you stub your toe, you go, oh, fuck me, seriously? And then you just kind of go like, okay, but that's okay. That's okay. Whatever. I'm good. I'm going to live. The world is not coming to an end. And you kind of stop and flip the narrative on that. And go, wow, how'd I hit that? It's like I walk past that every single day. And then maybe you laugh about it after the pain is gone, because pain ain't no joke. But, then you might find that everything goes okay. I mean, not every day is going to be great, right? And not every day are we going to be able to flip the narrative on a bad day. But we can flip the narrative on how we react to it. Stub your toe. Okay, well, that happens. Maybe you're at work and your coffee falls off your desk. Okay, well, great, that happens. And you spend 10 minutes cleaning it up, because you don't want to stain the carpet because it's not your house. Well, you don't want to stain the carpet in your house either. But you see my point. You spend all this time clearing it up. And, you never know. Somebody might be walking by that's having a terrible day and they're seeing, oh, great, you're kind of having the kind of day I'm having. It's like, yeah, but you know what? It's okay. It's just a day. It's just one of those days and it'll be fine. Tomorrow will be a better day. You may actually inspire them to flip the narrative on their day. I have seen this happen. It has happened to me when I've seen other people go, yeah, but it's okay. And I've seen it happen when I've said, yeah, but it's okay. It'll be fine. No big deal. And you laugh about it because that's what happens. Bad days are going to happen. How we react to them is what changes the vibration. So, I know a lot of people sit there, go, oh, the secret, oh, the magic, blah, blah, blah. And that's fine. That's okay. But, to me, my higher powers and the universe work as one. And they will sit there and remind me. I personally believe, and it's just my opinion, you don't have to believe what I believe. I'm not here to convince anybody else to believe in what I believe. But one of the reasons I am so strong on talking about the law of attraction is basically that's what all these cards are kind of about. But I try to point out different things so people realize, oh, it's not something I've ever thought about. It's not something I ever talked about. I didn't just discover this all on my own. The law of attraction was taught to me. Somebody says, did it ever occur to you that you might be drawing these things to you? In fact, it might have been an older sibling that made me read The Secret because I was in a place of healing and it was before my mom passed and I was trying to heal all this other stuff that I'd been through and it's just kind of like, and I read it and it hit me between the eyes because it's like, oh my God, a lot of this actually makes sense. Now, see, a lot of people won't read it because they're like, oh, that's poo-pooey. It's a wish book. It's not a wish book. I can tell you right now, people will look at it and say, fuck that book. All it is trying to teach you stupid stuff that doesn't happen. No, it's not a wish book. It's teaching you how to change the frame of your thinking to bring better things into your life. Whether you do that or not is up to you. You could read the book 50 times. But if you constantly worry and you constantly overthink, it's not going to happen. And you're going to think it's a waste of time. Because you're not paying attention. You're not listening. You're not seeing and comprehending what's in there. Because people open the book and think, oh, everything's going to happen now. Everything's going to come true. You have to do the work. You have to do the work. It's like how we're talking about these cards being, the cards that are decorating our house of self-love. Do you take the easy way out and let somebody else do it? Or if you do hire someone to help you decorate your house of self-love, are you are you in on this project? Are you making decisions? Are you saying, I want this pattern, I want this pattern, I want this pattern, please make it. Or let me test it out and see how it looks. Let me hang it up on this wall and see how it looks. This is your house of self-love. Okay? And just like a regular house, you can decide how often you want to change it, how, many times you want to change it. But you have to make sure that it's not only inviting to you, but to other people. Because decorating this house of self-love is basically saying, I want this house to vibrate so high that it brings nothing but good things to me. Nothing but wonderful people to me. Maybe I'll get a stray every so often who needs my help, and they could end up being a great, great friend. The world works in interesting ways. I met Sissy Joe because I'm going to go into how I think some of these things work. And I'm a prayer. I do pray. I believe in God. Which a lot of people say, well, you can't believe both. You can believe in whatever the fuck you want to believe in. All right. That's my thing. Believe in whatever you want to believe in. That's your choice. Don't let people hold you back because they don't think it's real. I was reading an article somewhere that says there are like thousands of religions all over the place, and a lot of them actually go back into the same God, but it's how we practice, right? But there's a lot. Well, this is like, thousands of years ago there were thousands of different religions. Now we've kind of narrowed it in to a specific amount that we know of, people are sitting there going, well, people who are godless or this, that, and the other. There are tribes out in forests that, and then there's one off the, I think the Indian police or the Indian government near India, not American Indians, but the government near India or in India protects this one island. And these people, if you try to even come close, they will fucking take your head off. All right, I'm not joking, no joke. But they're not godless. This is what they do. These people have existed for thousands of years. And they've done it without people interfering, without people trying to bombard them with their beliefs. So, like I said, yeah, God sits at the head of my spiritual table, but there's a lot of other people. There's a lot of other deities at my table. Because I don't live by other people's rules anymore. I live by my rules. And my rules say that everybody there brings something beautiful to that table. The universe brings something good to my table. And to kind of explain how this works, before I understood what the law of attraction was, it was working for me. I used to be a pharmacy technician in my early years. And I had moved up to Orange County because of a guy. I know. Somebody told me recently, never move somewhere for a man. But you know what? Why not? I thought it was something that would last. And, if you don't take those chances, how are you going to know? And so I moved up here, and things obviously did not work out. But in the interim of being a pharmacy tech, my boss at the time decided that her best friend needed more hours because she just bought a house. Now, mind you, this person's married and they have two big incomes basically, and I'm just trying to survive on my own. I have a roommate already, and who actually became a boyfriend for a while later. But I told her I had to quit because I couldn't not have medical, and they weren't happy with that. And karma came back and bit them in the butt. Because 2 months after I quit, she got the dream job that she always wanted. And when I came back to visit, they're all, you're still looking for a job because we have full-time work now? It's like, no, I shifted. I shifted into office work, into admin work. And when I shifted, that's when I met Sissy Joe. And she, we had our ups and downs, but our good times outnumbered our bad times. And she really was like my very first soul sister that I ever had. And at the same time, I started dating my roommate. I got into hockey. And, here's the thing. I had already put out there, I put out in prayer and in intention without understanding what manifestation was. Please let me find people to hang out with. Please let me find people that I can associate with. Let me really kind of start living this life that I want to live. I don't live super far away from home, but I'm not in the same county anymore. And for me, independence wasn't my strong suit. But I lived at home. I only moved out once when I was like 20, and that lasted 9 months. Then when I was 23, I moved out forever. But and not only did I do that, I moved right to the next county. But I put these things out there, dear God, and to me, prayer, intentions, manifestations are all the same thing. They're all the same thing. It's just who you're directing it at. What I didn't realize is I was not only directing it at God, I was directing it at the universe. The universe was helping along with this. And in fact, I when I left, I didn't have another job. So I'm sitting there like, please God, just let and then one day, it wasn't out of desperation. It's like, you know what? I really need a job right now. I really need this. And, so I get a call within 10 minutes. Hey, we have an offer. Somebody wants to meet with you, blah, blah, blah. I went to the wrong place. I was so excited about getting this job. I forgot to write down the suite number. And then when I looked in the door, I thought, well, there's somebody already sitting at that desk, so it can't be it. Well, it turns out it would be my future boss, Sissy Joe. Whoops. Even she kind of like, well, why didn't you just come in and ask? It's like, well, it took her a while to realize I'm a shy person. But long story short, I went all the way up there, went all the way home. I was in tears, and then I got a call back. I called the girl saying I messed up. I don't know what, blah, blah, blah. And she said, don't worry about it. They want to see you anyway. So go back and go into the right door. So I did. And I was hired on the spot. Well, about half an hour later. And although Sissy and I had our moments, it is and will always remain one of the most important relationships I've ever had in my life. I learned a lot. But in the interim, as I was dating this one guy, I went to my very first hockey game. All right, live. And I mean, I already liked hockey, but not to the extent of when I finally got to see it live. And so here I was saying, well, I only really have one friend right now besides my boyfriend and his friends. So I just kind of put it out there again. I'd really like to meet new people. And so I decided to step out of my comfort zone, hugely step out of my comfort zone. I joined the Booster Club. Now, went to the Booster Club. I'd sneak into the back during some of the meetings, but then they shifted where they met. And once they shifted where they met, you couldn't really hide from anybody because it was in a spare room of a restaurant. So it wasn't like you could hide in the back of this little industrial place and then sneak out the back. No, there was only one way in, one way out, and they were going to catch you. And so after one meeting, they were looking for volunteers to do, I belonged to the Booster Club for about a year. And the social events director just halted me. Oh, I see you're new. Would you like to volunteer? And I'm like, well, and I'm super shy. Okay. And they wouldn't really take no for an answer. And so I was like, well, okay, yeah. And they could see how nervous I was, but they could also see they trust me because my job ended up being escorting celebrities from their cars into the thing for the charity hockey game. Okay, celebrity charity hockey game. So that was pretty fun. And she knew because she's worked with celebrities. Okay, and she's just like, don't worry, they're just people. It's like, okay, you're right, they're just people. And turns out my shyness started to fade away because you're talking to people that you're like, oh my God, you're so-and-so. And then that's what's happening in your head. But all they want, they look a little nervous because they don't know who's going to bombard them, and they're kind of freaking out. And you're just like, here. And turns out I make a pretty good bouncer. It was a lot tinier then. But yeah, turns out I make a pretty good bouncer. And sorry, they have somewhere to be right now. Which helps them because it doesn't make them look bad. It just makes me look like an asshole. And that's fine because my goal is to protect people. So turns out that person was older sibling. And I've known her for quite some time now, a couple decades. And I can't imagine my life without her. But I put it out there. I put it out there that I needed to find people that would help me on my journey. And they brought it. Because I believed in it. But also, I had to do the work. I had to sit there and go, you know what? Okay, I'd like to do this and try it with you. And I think mostly the reason I got that job, because everybody wanted that job, but I got that job. I think mostly it was because she just wanted to take me under her wing and make sure I was okay. Not put me somewhere with a bunch of people that I didn't know, because older sibling can also, despite the fact that she's worked in the entertainment industry, she can be very, very shy. I'll be honest with you, I don't think we're as shy as we used to think we are. Oh, wait, did that make sense? I don't think we're as shy anymore as we used to be. Because I think we use oh God, I can't think of the word. I think we use that nervousness in our favor when we see other people and say, hey, you know what? I don't want this person to feel like I used to feel or like I feel, so I'm going to take them under my wing. But as we move forward and we reach out and we start realizing, wow, I can talk to anybody. Well, almost anybody. I still remember older sibling having to elbow me to talk to somebody. But I get nervous in front of cute guys. I can't help it. I mean, I had a guy flirting with me on a plane once on the way home from Colorado. No clue. Right over my head. And I was just kind of like, what? And when I told my coworkers, they're all like, you're stupid. You were like 100% stupid. Of course he was flirting with you. It's like, oh. It was just a couple of years ago. But you don't think, I didn't think about it. I was just like, oh, okay. But it's about confidence building. And that's what this card is about. It's about, I mean, I took the long way around there, but get over it. This is what I do on my show. So I'm sorry, that was rude. It'll be okay. Just, follow along. But again, my every thought is attracting its vibrational essence. Now look at that. That's a really pretty little field in that globe, right? With the daisy or whatever that's supposed to be in the planets, and just a lot of just beauty in there. The sun coming up and the moon in the corner. But whether you are thinking about wanted things or unwanted things, you are still sending out a request to attract more things like the subject of your thought. And all things that happen to you, all people, things, experiences that come to you, come in response to your vibrational invitation. Noticing how things are turning out for you is one very clear way of understanding which vibrational requests you are emanating, because you are always getting the essence of what you are thinking about, whether you want it or not. I'll be honest with you, I may have manifested that back pain. And not intentionally, but I think it was my body's way of saying, you're out of sync with your thoughts. You are out of sync, and I'm going to just put you down today until you remind yourself, look it up on this chart. Because like I said, none of the meds were touching it. Not the ibuprofen, not the muscle relaxer, nothing. Nothing was touching it. And so I knew this wasn't just a regular physical pain. I didn't just pull my back because I stretched funny or whatever. This was something in my soul telling me, you need to reconnect with your higher self. And you need to really kind of put the period on this sentence when you do it. And like I said, I went to bed thinking about this, meditating on it, having this great conversation with God. And I know I giggle because people are like, oh my God, it's like she talks to God. Yeah, why not? Why not? Why not? He's there, right? I mean, any higher power that you reach out to is there. Some of them are a little kinder. Some of them might look at you and slap you upside the head and go, what the fuck are you thinking? Get your shit together. But I had this wonderful conversation. And like I said, the first time I turned over in bed, my back didn't hurt. So I knew I had to get back in touch with my higher self. And that was the most important thing. And I woke up this morning a little nervous to get out of bed because I wasn't sure if that was it. And it worked. So now it's about being in tune with myself and staying in tune with myself. And I think sometimes for me, and maybe you, depending on how you want to view this, I think sometimes when we hurt ourselves, there's something that needs to be healed. There's something that needs to be worked through. And if you're willing to do the work, your higher power, the universe, the vibration you send out there, it'll start bringing you the right things. It'll start bringing you the beautiful things into your life that are meant for you. Sometimes the hardest work isn't about physical work. It's about the mental work. I've had a struggle and a fight, a tug of war going on between my heart and my mind. My heart saying, Shelley Marie, you deserve all these things in the world. All these things can be yours, but you have to trust and believe. Like I said, trust and believe is going to be the underlying theme of all these cards. When you trust in the vibration you are putting out there, whether you're praying, manifesting, or setting an intention, and you have the faith to back that up, kind of like trust, believing, and underlining it with faith, you're going to see the changes. You may not get exactly what you want, but you're going to get what's meant for you. And by that I mean, there may be something out there that, you absolutely 100% want. But it might be a fleeting thing, like, oh my God, that's like the coolest thing in the world, I want that. But you might get something similar to it that you love even more. And trust me, when I say that when you get what is meant for you, you're going to love it more than what you initially put out there, because it's what is meant for you. So be careful what you put out there. If, I've used this example before in the past, and I'm going to end with this. There's a show I watch, and there were two people that were praying. Sorry, my back is still kind of tweaking because I'm not paying attention to it. But there were two people that would pray in the show. Okay. It was a show Mom. I love the show Mom. Allison Janney's just amazing. She's like spectacular. But one character prayed out of desperation. The other character prayed out of faith and trusting and believing. And guess who the things worked for? That's right, the person that had trust, faith, and believing. Not necessarily the person who was praying out of desperation. Not because God wasn't listening, because that's who they were praying to, but because of the vibration they were putting out there. And, you may say, well, God's ignoring me. God's trying to teach you a lesson. That you have to have trust and faith and believe. That what you are asking your higher powers for, whoever your source is, that they are going to bring it to you in the best way that they know for you. And give them some wiggle room, all right? This or something better. I always say that. This or something better. Even if you're praying, dear Lord, please bring me this or something better. Thank you, amen. Or, dear higher power, fill in the blank. Whoever your higher power is, or universe. Please bring me this or something better. Or what is meant for me. If you're trying to manifest a partner into your life, a romantic partner, just say, please bring me, the person that has these qualities, or, maybe you might be zeroed in on somebody. Just put out, this or whoever's meant for me. And sometimes we don't want to go that route, right? Because you really want to zero in on somebody, but you have to give them wiggle room. Because, people have free will. Short of kidnapping somebody, which I do not recommend. Yeah. If they're not meant for you, they're not meant for you. If they are, they'll pop into your life. And it'll all be like, wow. And some people might look at you and go, but you got who you wished for. And it's like, well, that's because that person was meant for you. Maybe you were given a heads up on who this person is. Maybe somebody said to you, hey, this is your person. But you have to do the work to get there. That's how it works. But then when you end up with the person you're meant to end up with, it's bliss. Right? I mean, baby sibling got blindsided by the person she's dating. And I don't mean in a bad way. I mean in a good way. She wasn't looking. She just kind of was taking time for herself. And this person was pretty persistent. Not annoyingly persistent, but just persistent. Like, hey, blah, blah, blah. They had a mutual friend. And poof. Bliss. And it's cute because she just keeps telling me, I just want you to have your bliss. I just want you to have your bliss. And I do want my bliss, but I know I have to work at it too. I know that I have to trust and believe and underline it with some faith. Be careful of the vibration you put out there. If it is negative, you're going to keep getting that in return. If it's positive, things will get better. Okay, that's what we have to do. And sometimes, like I said, the hardest work that we can put in there is having that trust, having that belief, and underlining it with complete faith that everything is going to work out the way it is supposed to work out. All right. So I hope everybody has a wonderful, wonderful day. Again, please take care of yourselves. I know I'm rolling my eyes because, like I mentioned earlier, I have not been doing that. But please take care of yourselves. And, remember, you're possible. I'm possible. Okay, I'm going to finish this off. What do you see? Impossible or I'm possible? Perspective matters. Perspective really does matter. And perspective really matters in vibrations and what kind of vibration you're putting out there. If you're constantly getting bad stuff happening to you, stop, take a deep breath, and think about your vibration. And yeah, sometimes it can be pretty hard to recalibrate, but it's possible. As long as you're breathing, again, you're not dead. So you can flip the narrative on anything you want to flip it on. That's your choice. These are guidance cards. I'm just here to guide you. I'm not here to change your life. I'm not here to fix you. Well, I hope it changes your life in a little bit of way, but I'm not here to fix you. I'm here to show you that there's another way. I've seen it. I'm starting to live it. I'm starting to understand it. My body will betray me from time to time because it needs to remind me that I'm on the wrong path. And sometimes I think maybe that's what it is. You know, it feels like someone's trying to pull out my spine, going, nope. You know, how someone collars you, like, you know, like clotheslines you from the back because they're trying to get you to not walk into traffic. It's kind of the same idea. It's like someone pulls me by my lower spine and says, nope, wrong direction. So, as much as it sucks, it's the truth. And that's what we kind of have to deal with sometimes. And so pay attention to your body, because your body does talk to you. In fact, I think in the comments, I'll put the little chart I was talking about. And like I said, you may not or may believe in it. It's up to you. I really do believe that our bodies talk to us and tells us where, you know, like when we have these random pains. And like I mentioned to anybody that might just be tuning in, I took some medication yesterday. I took a muscle relaxer, didn't touch it. And, you know, like I said, they touch my cramps like something fierce. I mean, like, whew, it's like, yeah, baby. But then I took an ibuprofen, which is an anti-inflammatory. Did not work. So that's how I knew. That's how I knew that I had to dig deep and go in and find what this pain was all about. And, you know, that might be reaching for some people, but for those who were curious, or for those of you who do believe it, I'll put the chart in the comments on the Facebook Live. Okay. So again, have a great day, everybody. I'll see you back here tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, Facebook Live under Shelly Marie Lucas. All lives are public. Anybody can watch, whether we're friends or not. I also upload these to YouTube under the Aloha Perspective with Shelly Marie, and to my Facebook page, the Aloha Perspective. If you follow me on Twitter, you will see these pop up on both of the accounts. One's a mental health account. One is my regular I'm a dork account. And I do a short version, which also end up on Twitter. That one's on TikTok under the Aloha Perspective. And basically all I do is just read the cards. So if you ain't got time for all my yammering, I do those right after I do this one. And I upload those to Instagram and and Twitter, but mostly because Instagram's got the shorter stuff, so I do upload those there. And TikTok is the Aloha Perspective, and Instagram is either, I don't know what I have. I think I have it under Shelly Marie Lucas, maybe Goalie Fan 1973. I'm not sure. And the Aloha Perspective. All right, I know that's all the big ones. So I'll just do those on Monday, and you know, just finish it off later, you know, the rest of the week. So anyways, have a great day, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. And remember, watch your vibrations. All right. Watch your vibrations. I'm pointing at your head. It's like, watch your vibrations. What you're putting out there is what you're bringing back to you. Okay. Have a great day.